The episode Onsies left us with many questions. Why did Brandy disappear for so long? Why does she feel so uncomfortable with her healer family? What's the meaning of what Chili says at the end of the episode? Well friends, after analyzing this episode multiple times, we have the answer to all these questions, which reveal a very dark truth behind Brandy. So why don't we see what this episode is hiding? To understand this theory, let's first understand a little bit about Brandy's life. In the first episode she appeared in, it was practically implied that Brandy cannot have more children, due to the miscarriage Chili had and Brandy's possible fertility issues. Well friends, it seems that this episode is created to tell us that in reality, Bingo is Brandy's daughter. But why? First of all, Brandy is not completely sure about entering the healer's house. It seems like there's something she feels ashamed of, or simply makes her uncomfortable. At the beginning of the episode, she sighs deeply. To see her sister? Many might think that perhaps Brandy had some kind of argument with her sister, and that's why she hadn't spoken to Chili for a long time. But as the episode progresses, we realize that the problem seems to be something else. That sigh is because Brandy is hiding something. When Chili introduces Bluey and Bingo to her, it seems that Brandy has a hard time accepting that Bingo resembles her. And later on, it seems that Brandy is so uncomfortable that she even wants to leave Chili's house. But why? Also, it seems very strange to me that the episode focuses entirely on Brandy and Bingo. So before we move on to the theory, let's first look at all the evidence we have. So far, we know that Brandy feels uncomfortable and ashamed to enter her own sister's house. Did she steal something or what? Chili emphasizes that Bingo looks too much like her, to which Brandy is left speechless. Why? Shouldn't she feel flattered? Then Chili points out that 4 years have passed since the last time she visited, and Brandy is also very uncomfortable with this and simply doesn't know how to respond. Maybe because she forgot something important? Or rather, did she forget someone? On several occasions, we see Brandy trying to give Chili an explanation, but what is it that is so important that she finds it so difficult to say? If we pay attention to Brandy, we'll notice that she seems to have a stronger connection with Bingo. Even the scene when Bingo catches her could be giving us a clue. And lastly, almost at the end of the episode, Brandy says she hadn't come to see her because it's very difficult for her to see everyone together. Who says that when visiting her sister's family? Now let's answer all this with the following theory. We don't know much about Brandy's life, but from what little we know, it seems that she doesn't have a husband. But it seems that she did have one. She had a partner and also that desired child, who was Bingo. It could be that Brandy lived happily just like Chili, but maybe she started having problems with her husband, which caused them to divorce. Or in the worst case, Brandy didn't divorce, but had to face the death of her husband. Facing a divorce or loss can be very difficult for everyone, and probably this was the reason why Brandy's family ended. I suppose Bingo had to stay with Brandy, and probably when she was left alone, Brandy had to look for a job to support Bingo and her. The truth is that it is very difficult to raise a baby if you're a single mother. You can't go to work because you have to take care of the baby, feed him, change his diaper. Anyway. And let's not forget that surely Brandy felt very depressed and didn't pay much attention to poor Bingo. First of all, it was her first baby, and she had no experience at all. And second of all, she was left alone. Out of desperation, Brandy may have asked Chili for help to take care of Bingo while she got a job, and Chili of course was going to help her sister, so she decided to take care of Bingo from when she was a baby. And if you think about it, this perfectly coincides with Bingo's age. Besides, Brandy remembers Bluey's favorite animal very well. Maybe this was the last time Brandy visited Chili, and that's why she didn't forget this detail. And from there, she never came back. Probably because she didn't feel ready to raise a baby alone. Maybe because Bingo reminded her of her father, or simply to get rid of Bingo. Now the question is, why did Chili allow this? Brandy may have told Chili that she had found a job in another country, and maybe they wouldn't accept her if she brought a baby with her. Besides, who was she going to leave Bingo with? And that's how Brandy convinced Chili to take care of Bingo for a while. She probably told her that she would come back for her later. And maybe for this reason, Chili emphasizes too much to Brandy that too much time has passed. Practically, this was just an excuse from Brandy to get rid of Bingo, as she knew she didn't have to worry about her daughter because she had left her in good hands. Furthermore, in all the flashbacks they have shown us, we could see more about baby Bluey, but if you notice, they have shown us very little about baby Bingo. We only saw a photo of Bingo as a baby, which might be the age at which Brandy left her with Chili. Returning to Bingo's age, it's most likely that little Bingo was only 1 year old when Brandy left her with her sister, and this perfectly coincides with the 5 years Bingo has in the episode Onsies. As time passed, probably Chili assumed that her sister would never return, and maybe decided not to tell Bingo or Bluey anything, as it'll be too intense news for a child. Apart from that, she wouldn't understand it, and worse, it could have caused a strong depression to Bingo, cause as we know, she's very sensitive. And another thing we have to think about is that Chili had already had a miscarriage, so having 2 daughters would be a complete miracle. I suppose that Chili's pregnancy must have put her life at risk. And in fact, there's a lot of evidence that Brandy is Bingo's real mother. Let's start with Bingo's personality. She seems to be too smart and organized, and this is highlighted by Chili and Bandit in the episode Mini Bluey. Even Bandit says they are completely different. And all these qualities Bingo could have inherited from Brandy, because if we compare Chili with Brandy, Chili is more into partying, and Brandy seems more intellectual. In addition, the sensitivity that Bingo has could have also been inherited from Brandy, because if we think about it, Bingo is the only one who cries when Bandit plays rough with her and with Bluey. So when Bluey grows up, she probably will behave much like Bandit and Chili, while Bingo will remind us a lot of Brandy. In fact, many have commented that in the graduation photo of Bingo and Lila, Bingo looks a lot like Brandy in her fur. But the truth is, this doesn't seem like proof to me, because we also saw that in Chili's youth, she had the fluffiest fur like her sister. So in her return, Brandy couldn't do anything, because practically she realized that Bingo was happy with her new family. And it'll be very selfish of her to take away that happiness just because she wasn't sure of her decisions. And this could have been very frustrating for Brandy, because maybe after Bingo, she realized that she couldn't have any more children, and she simply abandoned the only daughter that she could have. And this would explain why it was so difficult for her to visit Chili. And now the phrase, "it was difficult to see everyone together," makes much more sense. She saw herself reflected in the Healer family, a dream that she can no longer have. And the scene when Bingo starts running from Brandy, we could interpret it as Brandy giving up what would make her happy in the future. And that's why she feels very regretful and ashamed, because maybe she wants to go back in time, but that's no longer possible. And maybe this is what Chili meant when she told Bluey that Brandy wanted something she couldn't have, because if they told Bingo the truth for her to return to Brandy, 2 things could happen. That little Bingo would get depressed by the tremendous news, or that she would end up hating Brandy. But tell me, what do you think about this theory? Do you have any other explanation? We'll read you in the comments.